particular brand. So
I'm
please,
just repeating what you
let's
said.
let's. I was trying to be humble off air, but you cannot. You should not try and cast me on air. That's not fair. So I have to bring out my pride now. And say no, guys. I went to Saudi Arabia like for 2 weeks, and I brought biscuits for Shokwe, and yet she's ungrateful.
Do you know
And
the world you live in? You can't be humble nowadays. That's not how we roll.
clearly, I didn't realize this.
People
So,
travel and come back with oil money. You come here with biscuits.
which person has traveled?
What
Have you even
person?
traveled? Let's go to the beginning. Have you even traveled, James?
I've missed this. The banter.
don't
This is
blame.
what you get on the what is it? James and Oris
Why is
show.
he even here on the
I
show?
always say it's the James and Silas show. Oris, I think I'm trying to take you out of the picture.
Clearly, but
Well-
I'm fine. It's a James and Norris show.
That's what you get on the James and Oris show, man,
It's
on,
alright.
on YouTube. And speaking about Jameses, we've got one in the studio. Hey, James Silas, how you doing?
Yeah! Good on Lagos, good on everybody. We're live. Yes.
Yes,
Ignore,
we are.
what's that guy's name again? What's that?
My
My
goodness,
name.
something starts with O or
Please.
U. And today I'm very, very excited because we have got White Blue 357. Actually, he is a producer, rapper, Osmond Oyaga, who's known as White Blue 357, not your average musician, and also not your shortest musician. I have to say, when you walked into the studio, my head went up. I was like, whoa, hello there. Good morning, sir. Welcome to the show.
Good morning. How you doing, Lakers?
We love having you on. And what we're going to do today, of course, a la new music, is that we are going to be talking about one of your tracks.
Okay.
So you've got you released two new singles ahead of your forthcoming compilation album titled The Showcase. And what we've got on the banks for today's Grapevine, we're going to be talking about feelings. So, of course, before we talk about it, we got to hear it, or you got to hear it because we've heard it and we talk about it. But let's play a snippet for you and then we'll be back. It's the Grapevine. Remember, join the conversation up on Twitter using the hashtag Grapvine981, up on WhatsApp by sending messages to 0809 440 981. And of course, we're streaming live up on youtube.com/smooth981FM Lagos. Join us in the live chats. Here we go. Here is Feeling.
357 production.
Should I turn it up for you guys? I think
Be
I
like I done it fall again. This love thing don't catch me in the same way. It catch me before and I know fit explain now. Be like that to the side, 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 side. Mama, don't tell me all these boys. If it's not real, don't call me, don't call me, don't call me. Mama, don't tell me all these boys. If it's not real, don't call me, don't call me. Feeling, you got me feeling, feeling so good, feeling. You got me feeling, feeling so good, feeling. You got me feeling, feeling so good, feeling. You got me feeling, feeling so good.
Oh, all types of feelings in the studio, but let's get straight into it. So we can only play you a snippet of this, but don't you worry, I'll play you the full thing after the show. So make sure you watch out for that on the other side from 8:45. All right, people, let's get into it. Who wants to get off? Who wants to start off?
I have a question.
Okay.
What is White Blue 357? Sounds like one of those computer codes for colors.
You went straight. You went there. White Blue 357. Actually, it isn't what you think it is. Most people think it's something else, but it's actually more related. I'm a very spiritual person, so it's white, the
Okay.
color of peace; blue, the color of happiness; and 357 are like numbers of good fortune. If you look at like
7, 3.
three good things happen the third time, the fifth time, the seventh time. So that's what it is. It's
Okay.
a spiritual thing.
What do most people think it is?
They think it's gone now 357. That's if I want.
Ah.
It's actually the opposite of
Oh
that.
my goodness. They're like, you're in the rap culture for real.
Exactly. That's what most people think it is.
Okay.
Okay, well, thanks for that clarification. What is who's the artist on this song? It doesn't sound like your voice.
Oh no, it's an artist by the name of Faye Diamond. She was actually one of the contestants on the Nigerian Idol season 7. So she's a very talented artist.
I see.
Love her voice on it.
So you produced this then?
Yeah, I did the production on it, and then we wrote it together.
Okay, what was that process like?
It was actually very smooth, very smooth. She I sent her the beat, sent her a couple of ideas, melodies, and then she came to my studio very quickly. Actually, we just did it very quickly, no wasting time, and it was a very, very easy process, very easy to work with her.
All right. Awesome.
Exchanging ideas. She was actually open. Some people they'll come in and they'll be from me. No, they don't want to listen. They want to do whatever they want. She was actually very open to working with me, so I really enjoyed that process.
So it's like the collaborative spirit, right?
Exactly. We prayed. We prayed before, so we prayed, God, let this session go well. Let them not be any. So everything just went smoothly and it was quick. It was really quick.
I hear you have a second single as well. You released 2 singles.
Yes.
And then second one is an R.I.L.A. by Simi.
Yes, featuring Simi.
Tell us about putting out a record by Simi and with Simi. And can you share?
Yeah, there's a history.
You've got a history with Simi, don't you?
Go
Yes,
ahead.
I actually do. I can't remember the year it was, but this is back then when I don't know. Some of you people may not know what MySpace is. Once upon a time,
Oh my days.
before
That's a fair point.
before Twitter, before YouTube, there was a thing called MySpace. So I was actually in the States at the time. I was just finishing college, and I went on MySpace. I heard somebody. I'm like, who is this person? This is unbelievable. So I reached out to her when I came back to Nigeria. Then eventually, she actually signed. I started a label. She signed to my label. And that was one of the tracks we actually pushed at the time was R.I.L.A. Yeah.
What? So this is an old
So
song.
this is like
Yeah.
So did you remaster? What happened? Did you do something?
yeah.
Did you update it?
Yeah. So I actually just made a new instrumental for it. So I just did the production on it. I updated the production on it.
What does this mean for Simi? Is she aware of what has happened to her old vocals?
The thing is, when we did the agreement, it was like all these tracks we can actually put it out. There was a time frame, but the time frame is like 40 years that we can actually still put out the tracks. So
yeah. You are very future thinking there. 40 years.
There was because you just have to. You never know what can happen, so you just have to make sure that everything is good. But like at the end of the day, everybody go chop from something. No be honest. So she too, she'll be happy now if it's going well.
All right. Meanwhile, messages coming in. Oris, the people have missed you. Who says Oris, aka Multi-Violence, is in the building?
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, you forgot
James.
what the Grapevine listeners are like?
James has set me up. That's somebody who James has planted.
Can you imagine?
And Tanya says, I'm afraid to ask Oris what he brought for me.
Dying, if you know what I mean.
Actually, I brought some special TikToks for Sope,
Please.
but since she has been antagonizing me, I'm no longer sure I want to give it to her.
You will.
Why
Sope.
TikToks? What are you trying to say?
I'll get you something else, or something better.
From where?
You
please?
know how I do.
From Okoko.
You know how I do.
James, I believe in you.
Good.
See, guys, the way I'm going to play this game is so that I can get the most out of everyone. So feel free.
Oh, you had to say that, both of us?
I know. I've shot myself in the foot, but whatever.
Yeah,
man.
Nigerian women.
Whatever.
I've missed you people.
Okay. Real quick, let me read this one from Tayo. Continuing, he says that for a moment he was like, "What blue 357 is their password?" Tayo is up. Fine. And Tayo, don't worry.
It's a password
I'll
to
play
success.
Gang.
You have got all the okay.
So, wait, why
I
blue?
see why you are writing your songs.
Why blue? I also know that you said, from the profile, he has a project coming out. What date? Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, that the product is actually called the Showcase. That's going to be coming out tomorrow.
Okay. So what do we expect from the showcase?
To be honest with you, I don't want to. I'm actually a very modest person, but when we were making the album, one of my goals was there are like 4 albums. Can I talk about the history of?
Okay, yeah.
So there are like 4 albums that I really, really like to me hold like as the top of like the Nigerian. You have
I am
Two
eager to
Face.
hear
You're
this.
sitting next to Oris.
I'm eager
No,
to hear
okay,
this.
so we have Two Face's first album. I think what is that? Face to Face.
That's the name exactly.
Then MI's album Talk About It. Then
his first
One Day
song.
Cole, Mushing to Mo Hits.
Everything that debut.
Wow, yes,
And
his first one.
Wizkid Superstar. Those 4 albums to me are like what they call the Mount Rushmore of albums. So when I was making an album, I wanted to have something in that category, and I think we actually accomplished it. I think it's one of the best albums.
So this is also your debut as well.
It's-
I mean, how do you define it for yourself?
Yeah.
I mean, I would define it as my debut. I mean, I've released like 2 songs here and there just to kind of test how the
Mm.
industry
What is the
is now,
first
but this is
project?
like
Body of
the
work?
first
Because I feel like
exactly.
it fits into the pattern of all
Exactly.
the albums that you were talking about.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
make
Yeah,
the
you know, one day we'll discuss this thing about like great albums and see whether people ever, Nigeria at least, whether people ever make great albums outside of their first records. But
Project,
that's
right?
but that's that's a different question.
Yeah.
entirely
like
to have.
one hit album wonders.
Yeah, I feel like the only person who I would say has done that by
Back
the
to
way
back?
is Jesse Jacks. Yes.
Oh, come on.
Jesse
That's
Jack.
a
I think
different
it's
world.
first 3 actually. I
It's
think
a different
them.
world entirely.
Yeah, he's
I
an
think
amazing
Sope is
producer.
like, I don't agree, but I'll let it go.
You know me. I take it for the team, guys. I'm a team player, so I'm not gonna like spend time on this. But so one thing I noticed, I went up on your YouTube and you've got a lot of you did a lot of remixes of like different Afrobeats
Yes.
songs. What was going on there? Like what prompted that?
To be honest with you, I wasn't even I didn't even used to make Afrobeats. So I can't even lie to you. I was focusing more on hip hop tracks. Then somebody was like, "Why are you only making hip hop now? Nigeria, you did now make
That's a good
Afrobeats."
point.
So I was talking with someone, and even James as well. Like we had this discussion. You know, I just put out remixes of other people's tracks, let people hear your Afrobeat stuff.
Mhm.
The feedback was actually good on my Instagram, which gave me the motivation to start making more Afrobeat tracks. And then people were like really responding very well to them.
Okay, so now what are we going to see from the showcase?
The showcase is more like an Afrobeat album, but there are
Ah.
2 tracks that I kind of did like hybrids. There's an Arile remix, which is like a hybrid trap Afrobeat. So I just created a new genre. I
Oh,
think
that sounds
I'm not
interesting.
sure.
Yeah, but I was going to say this song we just had, I don't think of it as Afrobeats.
This is Afrobeat.
Really?
Yeah, it is Afrobeat.
You think it's Afrobeats? Anybody? James?
So-
This
So,
song we just heard?
I think I would have
I
argued that it
didn't-
was like an R&B pop song.
Yeah,
I
yeah, that's kind of
see
what
it
it
as
sounds more like to me. Yeah,
Afrobeat.
not to me
Oh,
actually.
okay.
Yeah, I don't
Maybe
feel
that's
like
because of my I'm not like I'm
Maybe
not
it's a mindset
influenced.
thing. You're thinking about it like,
Yeah, but I
doesn't
think
sound like
it falls
Afrobeats.
in the genre of Afro. Maybe I don't go too deep into it just because of, like I said, how my history was not really Afrobeat. So I'm not going all the way with some of the tracks, but there are some tracks that go all the way.
I mean, with James on the R&B pop side.
Yeah, I am exactly there as well. I don't hear a lot of that drums, which I think is the major thing. in
Okay.
Afrobeats.
And also
Anyway.
too, like another thing is like because when we were making the album, we were surveying people. So it was actually that even took the longest, surveying people. So we had to survey producers and Nigerians.
What were
and
you
other-
asking? When you say survey, what were you
So I
asking?
was surveying people like, what are your ideas about the track? What do you feel about the track?
Okay.
Nigerians and non-Nigerians as well. So
Alright.
like the influences on the album are like it's Nigerians and international as well.
Alright.
That might be why we're getting that.
I
So,
see.
so real
Okay.
quick, somebody from like Alex Moore said, "Why Blue 357 sounds like or feels like a nightclub name."
The nightclub.
What do you guys think?
Okay.
I
Why
feel like-
Blue
I
357?
feel like, and you know what? The fact that, honestly, I love the fact that that was the very first thing you asked because I feel like we would have had a whole different conversation without knowing
What it
about
means,
that.
yeah.
Because,
Right.
yeah, people would ascribe different things to
Exactly,
it because
exactly.
it does
Oh,
sound
just in
like.
the house.
Yeah, whatever.
What's wrong with this guy? Wait, can I ask you real quick? Can you tell us about transiting from being a record label boss producer now to
An artist.
coming to the front line as an artist?
To be honest with you, before I was even a record producer, I lived in New York, and in New York I was on mixtapes of some of the legends, Superstar J and people like that. So I was actually rapping, but when I came back to Nigeria, I'm like, let me just focus more on the
Production.
Business?
I wasn't even producing. I was just focusing on the business at the time. It's just recently, but I went away from some time from the music, but I've always been making music. So it's more like before wasn't even a natural thing. Before I was just doing the record label thing, but I was actually an artist, but I didn't want to actually be out there in the limelight.
Mm.
But now I'm like, people are like, you have this talent. Why not? You have to show your talent. You can't keep it and hide it from the world. So
Bro, there have been
So,
many of those interventions, but we need to take a break. When we get back from the break, we're gonna take a pivot and we're gonna discuss some of the stories that made their way into entertainment news. All right, so on the other side, we'll see you with more. And remember, send your messages in 0809 440 981.
Yeah, so I didn't go to the video.
Hey, what's up,
I didn't
man?
go to the video.
So loud.
Big Clef,
I
still
will see
there?
how everything goes with the. Are you a video producer?
Well, I know people, but no, my real reason why I'm asking is because you just said like coming to the spotlight, and I feel like
Well, boy, how
this
now?
day, You know, nobody comes to the spotlight without like having like a video. Such a
Visual, yeah, visual.
Ooh, let me check.
Alari, what's
So, I
up?
mean, yeah.
Alari,
But yeah, if
Alari,
you want, I have.
guy.
Yeah, it's
Long
definitely
time.
something that's we want to see what happens.
Somebody
This is
said
also-
Sope-
yeah, we need to see what
Sope is a
happens
team
with, like,
player.
the audience.
I
and
am a
how-
team
well,
player.
yeah,
You know
we'll
it.
now know which one we're going to push. Yeah,
So
We
are there a lot
can't
of
see
songs on
your
the album
guest.
that have your voice?
Songs on the
No,
album,
I'm
my
producer.
voice.
Oh,
Yeah,
you
he
are?
did some
Okay.
of this.
I did.
He
I
rapped to
rapped
it.
on
I'm here
He's a
now,
rapper,
so
actually.
can't.
There's no way I'll cut you off.
Yeah, so why did you choose
won't
this
show
one as the
very well.
first?
That's
Surveys.
sure.
Yeah.
We
So
surveyed
lies,
people.
you know.
And this,
There were like
Okay.
7 tracks, then there were like 4
Yes,
tracks on the
it
really
is.
high.
I'm just watching myself.
So
on
so the
YouTube.
project has seven tracks.
That's vain.
Is it
Yes.
vain? Is it vanity or is it just the truth?
It
Wow.
is.
The
No, it's
people
true.
still have that.
Why you tell it yourself?
That's what I'm saying. I just wanted to make an
Look at
album
it,
like,
James.
and
Mike?
then if we are
Yours,
releasing,
yes,
I
yours.
just wanted to make an
Yes,
album.
yes,
My mic?
yes.
This is my mic. You know.
That's what I've been
I know.
making.
What should I
Like,
do?
bring it down a bit.
Music
Yeah.
since like 2000.
And
So I
next
just
to
have
you and
beats.
it's shining.
Yeah, I get it.
It's the point that shines
2022
light in
looks
your
like blood,
forehead.
man.
Yeah.
It is.
So you need to
But
wipe
I'm
up the oil a bit.
what's the
Oil?
song?
Yes.
Doing fine.
Did you hear this man? He called my glow oil.
No, that's not the glow, it's oil.
I would
It's
have
glow.
to do.
Look at my face. I
Even
can't
if I did
believe
10
you.
of these albums, 10 22-track albums, I would still have.
But actually, guys, let me tell you a funny story. Every time I used to go on TV, they would think I was sweating because my glow was so real.
Yeah, she's
I
still on
said,
that glow
"No,
thing.
that's
She's
not
still saying
my
glow.
She's got
forehead."
all this.
And then they would dab my forehead. And it was glow, not oil.
Oh,
not
wow.
sweat,
That's how you
just
change
glow.
a negative to a positive.
Okay.
I like
There
that.
was no
Okay.
negative, it was glow.
Oh, wow.
It's not black and I
It's my glow.
It's sweat.
It's
Sweat.
Come here.
So
Oh, did you
you know
see
how
that?
when we're young guys
Wait. Did you see
Sweat-
that? No.
sweat and
Chopin, don't
pomade.
cover that thing. Where's that pouch?
Huh?
Yes. What's that?
Can't get that.
What did you just say?
She knows.
Put the camera on
It's
that
called
thing.
planning ahead. It's called planning
Sweat.
ahead.
That we used to clean the table is what they're
Oh wow, that was
wow.
okay.
You know
Busted.
what? You know what? Today, should I be a team player, guys?
You're already
Or
a
should-
team player.
Should I be a team player? Or should
It's
I
in your
just
job
end the
description.
show? I
Oh,
just
your job
end the show,
description.
right?
We still have time. You can't do nothing.
Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, due to technical difficulties, the Grapevine can
There
no
are
longer
adverts to be played. There's money to be
They're
made.
going to be made,
And
man.
these adverts are getting too
The
long, by the way.
microphones are not working.
What?
That means that your show is good. If the adverts are getting too long.
All right.
Ah,
Can we add some time? Can they give us some time? Like,
no.
okay.
That should be hard.
Can you give us some time?
Yeah, I mean, let's do this until
Oh.
9 at least.
Till 9. Okay.
Or 9:55.
9:50.
Okay, 9:50. How about that?
Sure. I'll bring it up with
She's the enemy, actually, clearly. I thought she was our friend.
after all you've done to me.
Okay.
It is me who went to Saudi Arabia and said I was buy something specifically for you. Please do not talk to me.
Oh, yes. Studio. All right, we are back. Guys, if you have not been up on YouTube, you will not know that I've been abused in this life.
Wow.
But it's okay. It's the Grapevine on Smooth Breakfast. Let's get back into it. Oh, for everybody who has just tuned in, you have missed out on so much. We have got White Blue 357, aka Osmond Oyaga, in the studio, and we've been talking about his new singles. We got to play you "Feeling," and that had Faye Diamond on it, right?
Yes.
Oh, absolutely beautiful. And RLA, which is performed by Simi, but we didn't play you that one. That'll be for later. And we've been talking about your upcoming debut album, The Showcase,
Yes.
and what we can expect
Yes.
from it. So very excited. But now we're gonna do a little. What we're gonna do, as we got you in the studio with the crew, you are going to be part of the Grapevine crew
Okay.
as we discuss what's going on.
I
in
might
the
get
world
some
of
paid for
entertainment.
this.
No,
No, free welcome.
that's not how we do here.
Okay.
You get paid in smiles.
Okay.
And that's it. All right. So real quick, let's talk about Taylor Swift and the judge that has dismissed her the copyright lawsuit that was brought against her by Sean Hall and Nate Butler, because they were like, you copied the lyrics of Players Gonna
Shake
Play
It
and
Off.
Haters Gonna
Yeah.
Hate from
Shake it off, shake it
that
off,
3LW
shake it
song.
off.
Yeah. Saying that's I was
So
so
it's an
one thing I
interesting
like,
call.
the judge dismissed it in the case in its entirety.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's an interesting call because there are some lines according even from I think that was probably their defense or what they actually stated that there are some lines or some things that people like an everyday slang.
Yeah.
Everybody says it. You cannot really mark the root of that statement or that line, and then that was what they were calling out for. Because I was quite surprised. I remember that song. Even went back to research and
What's your
so
W
the
do?
three,
Or
yeah,
you
yeah.
don't
And I saw okay
will,
that
or you
one,
won't?
and then what's called Taylor Swift using it in a different way entirely, and then they called her out for those lines. Like players gonna play, haters gonna hate, and I'm wondering, but you see that also tells a lot about that system that people can pull you up. I mean, we've had loads and loads of those kind of situations. So I think it might have been thrown out. I'm not sure. Because number one, yes, it's an everyday line that everybody uses, or anybody. It's something that people have been saying from back in the day. There's also the part where the song was not particularly, or that line was not particularly used in the same reading for which the lyrics was used by the girls or
Is
the
that a
writers.
legitimate excuse?
Oh,
That's
yeah,
one.
I believe so. That's
I
possible.
think I think
I'm not
I
sure.
think I think it's about the text itself. If it says this, that's what it says. I think the real issue here is that they couldn't confirm. I'm assuming now they couldn't confirm that the origin of that particular line is from that particular song.
Record.
Yes, and I feel like that's kind of the problem sometimes with success. The line became too popular, so somehow you can no longer say, okay, was it from here or not? And so that's part of. I think that's the problem. Is the price of success, I believe.
Because once certain lines, yes, they originated from somewhere, but once they become community property,
It becomes
I'm not
really,
sure that
really
you can.
tricky.
I'm not sure you can be like, okay, yeah.
But I think if they could actually like home in and say, no, this is exactly where it came from, I think they would have probably not dismissed the case.
No, but one thing that the judge had said in his original ruling was that there had been 13, and he cited 13. I'm sure he was like, yeah, these are just ones I found. 13 earlier songs that had used the same thing.
layer.
So why is it Taylor Swift and her fame? And
Oh no, is it? Are you saying
Comedy?
between
Yeah.
the TLW
Yes,
song
yeah,
and this one?
yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Ah, man.
Fleetwood Mac, Dreams, Player Hater.
Oh, so that's
Notorious B.I.G..
now,
Listen.
but that's older. Fleetwood Mac is like 77, I think.
So
Okay, so
Yeah,
why
so that's
this?
way back.
That
Yeah,
one
so that's why I'm
suits
saying.
the-
So
Oh,
it's
right.
like-
So what
was
he's
it
saying
from
is that
original?
That's what
they
I'm saying.
featured the same tracks,
same thing, yeah,
the
yeah.
same lyrics rather. So you cannot that they're just too commonplace for you to say, okay, it's ours.
Yeah, I think the thing is
Yeah.
that they couldn't claim it because it's an older song that has exactly the same line. I think that's where it is from.
All right. Meanwhile, what do you think about Funke Akindele going into politics? For real,
I
and
mean-
leaving everything behind.
I'm wondering
Is she
why.
is she leaving everything behind? She went to close her YouTube channel. I beg, all these stories are just
Thank you.
funny, Jerry. I beg. She's not leaving anything behind. It's not true. It's
I
actually
mean,
not
just
true.
handing over to somebody to carry on. You're not necessarily.
It's not true. And
stopping the
anyway,
business.
let's face it. Since I think it was the film with Ebony Life. Was it Chief Daddy now?
Yeah,
Yeah, it
what?
was Chief Daddy. She
That she
directed
was
that
in.
one. Yes.
Okay.
I think she also directed it.
Did she direct it?
The
I'm not
first one.
sure.
The first one.
Chief Daddy?
Yeah, I think there's a film
I don't
directed
think
for
so.
Ebony Life. I think it was Chief Daddy. But anyway, we can confirm. But I think that since then, Funke has been moving a little bit back, to behind the cameras. Because let's face it, she's gotten to a level where it's even difficult. How are you going to pay Funke Akindele to act in your film? You get? So I think most producers actually can't quite.
You scared me. Your Excellency.
Your Excellency, yes, that's the film. Yes, sorry, not Chief Daddy. Yes, Your Excellency. Anyway, so since she did that, I think she's been moving behind the camera.
The camera.
So now she's saying that she's leaving the industry. I'm like, but it's not really true now. You're trying to move out of the front. Kind of like Genevieve, who also started her own production company, started to reduce her roles as well. I think that's what's happening with Funke. And now that there's politics there, is that, you know what? Let us focus on the production, because her YouTube channel it's a very popular one amongst Yoruba people. Very, very popular. So I don't think it's going to close that down. So make money there, but just no longer be the face of it. So I don't think this is like she's not fully disclosing what's happening actually.
All right, so this next one, wow, I love how we're zooming through these because, yeah.
Accurate timekeeper.
Oh, thank you. You know me. So, White Blue Man, let's talk about this one. I really want to get your thoughts on this one. So, R. Kelly's master.
Sorry, why are you calling me for R. Kelly now? Why is it me? Why always me?
Okay, no, Hannah, go ahead. I'm listening.
have died.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Okay. So, according to a police report, his master recordings were reported missing back in February. Swiped from an Illinois storage facility, and apparently police say that a man named Keith Calber, called to report the theft and said that it used to be completely full. Showed them 10 empty shelves. It used to be completely full, and now 300 to 500 missing recordings are there. But R. Kelly's team did not come out to talk about it until much later. Like
Okay.
what's going on there? But also master recordings, man.
Mm.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal, but I mean, R. Kelly's at a stage where I don't really know much about the master recording process like that, but R. Kelly's at a stage where I think you're not really going to be able to take his tracks now. So I don't know what he's really losing. I'm not too familiar with the process, but as
Apart
long
from
as he
his
has
freedom.
copies of the tracks, I think he's good.
Alright.
Yeah.
What did you want to say? Because you were
I have a lot of things to say because I was trying to say the origin of this story. The reason why people are hearing about it now is because of the so-called release of a new R. Kelly album
Mhm.
that was taken off.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so they
I
are
admit.
saying, yeah, exactly,
Okay.
I admit it. You know,
Mm.
and they are saying that actually what happened is it's not that there's a new R. Kelly album.
Mm.
It's in
Or
as
somebody
like
put
people,
out
yes,
something.
exactly.
Or
Yeah,
leaked.
it's leaked. Yes, it's
Yes.
connected to the theft that happened
Yes.
back in the day. Exactly.
Yes.
So they just got some of his old tracks and then they packaged it and then put it out. But once Spotify and the rest of them found out, they took
They
it
took
off.
it down. Yeah.
Oh, that's
The
why
platform.
Are you sure it's not just? I'm not.
So anyway, but yeah, so that's what they said. You know, that's
I'm
this
saying,
thing
is that
has
real?
been
Is that real?
I-
Is that?
I'm
That's
sorry.
what his thing is saying.
So I
Okay.
want to read what his public statement. I'm sorry, when I try and talk about R. Kelly, my bias comes out. I'll try and put it down. So this is what he shared by a public statement. Leave my music alone. They already got me in here. They took my voice. They messed my whole career up. They took all my money. They took my kids away from me. They took me from my family, my friends, and all of my fans, and all of the children that you dealt with. I have had all my emails and phone calls stolen and shared with government witnesses and God knows who else. And the list goes on. This is just like the first few in a long list of complaints. Said that he's gotten COVID twice while he was in jail,
I heard
that he got attacked while he was sleeping, that he's been diagnosed with PTSD while he was in there. He really feels like he's lost his freedom. I think that's the whole point, that he made a
That
number
you
of
lose
other
your
people
freedom.
lose their
He
freedom.
lost his freedom.
No? No?
That's
I'm
why you go
sorry.
to jail, though, to lose your freedom. But I want to ask a question, though. I'm sorry to change the topic, right? Previously to this, these tracks being taken down, didn't they actually take down his previous tracks as well? Or am I
So
wrong?
we heard.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
Apple Music that they
YouTube,
put down
even
some,
YouTube,
you know,
yeah.
and stuff. So
Yeah.
So is that actually? I'm not defending him, but is that actually like allowed? Are they just allowed to take your tracks down for? Why was it? Why were his tracks taken down?
Well, because of people were taking a moral stand against what he did, what
Did.
was convicted for, and that's why.
By the way, so whilst I'm, I
You heard one about Kanye, right? They're trying. People are
Yeah, but
suggesting
that's
that
what
they
I'm
should take it
saying.
down
Like,
as well.
why are you taking the tracks down? Like, even if
I completely
there's
feel
freedom
you on
of
this.
speech.
Yeah, but also
Freedom
it's
of
their
music.
platform. Go and release it on create your own platform.
But
Yeah,
you
but
know,
it's
that's
a
a
public
It's
platform.
a
That's
public
not a fair thing to
platform,
say,
though.
you know?
Yeah, exactly.
That's
It's
not
a
fair thing to say.
public.
It's not
Platform.
It's not a fair thing to
Yeah,
say.
there's
It's
no
not a fair thing
alternative.
to
Because
say.
because the internet, people forget
They
you're
can-
renting space technically. There are people who own all of these
Well,
things.
always don't forget that Sope is a fan of R. Kelly.
No, that's not the point she's making.
No,
I
no,
don't
as
have
far
the
as creating a new platform, it's the same thing applies. If they are taking down your music, create an alternative platform. for people to
I
stream.
think are you going to get like 1 billion people on it like Spotify has in like 2 weeks or like
You
2
never
months
know.
or like 2 years?
You never know.
Do you know how long Tidal has existed? And it cannot even compete with any of these other guys.
True fans will go for it, innit?
Guy.
They should find somebody that wants him on their platform. Although I feel like this plays into a much bigger conversation about lots of knee-jerk reactions, and I feel like taking away of people's rights
That's what I'm trying
when
to
the
say.
public, when they've gone through the public shaming process,
Hmm.
that I don't think is right, and which is why I would, despite my thoughts, be on the side of don't take his music off, because
If you don't
Yeah.
like it, just don't listen to it. But you don't have to take it off. The
Yeah,
people
but-
that don't like it don't have
But,
to listen
but
to it.
But
remember,
okay, hold
around
on.
the time when he was convicted, I think within a week his streams actually went up.
yeah, they did. Oh,
So yes,
so
exactly.
much.
So you see, that's part of the problem. You know, these guys, I don't know, man.
So now,
Tech
question:
companies have too much power.
what about radio stations?
Okay.
Like, would we have to play R. Kelly?
No, it's
Let's
up-
ask you.
Yeah, you tell us. Sure.
Have
You
you heard
tell
me
us.
play R. Kelly on this show?
They don't play American normally, please. Go away.
Because the truth of the matter is, okay, maybe because he's publicly shamed. There are lots of other people doing crazier stuff. You just haven't heard about it, and you're playing it, right? I'm not talking about in Nigeria. I mean, like across the world,
Mm.
right? So, like, who's to say that there are not people doing worse stuff? Like, I
Yeah,
just
it's
believe that it
exactly-
should be
yeah.
if the public doesn't want it, For radio station is different though. For a streaming app, you have the choice of not listening. For radio, it's kind of different. But for a streaming app, you don't have to listen. You can choose not to listen.
That's a good point. And again, people forget
With
these
radio
songs are
stations,
not made by one person.
You can switch, but never switch from smooth.
They're not made by one person. It's not like one person. It's not like R. Kelly produced it, did the drums, did this. You know, there's somebody else. There are people involved. So those people are not guilty. Why then are you now ruining the own chance of making money?
Yes, that's a good point as well.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Let me read this one from Ian because we come to the end of the show. So Ian says, "Did I hear you say he said he thinks he's lost his freedom? He's still thinking. Tell him I said good morning. By the way, he's not an enemy. He was one of my biggest music. I was one of his biggest music fans as a younger person. Even when he had these charges before him, I was wishing by some magic that he would get pardoned. Well, here we are. I tried.
Maybe you meant.
I really tried. I even prayed for him. I engaged my line manager in a conversation, trying to make a case for him. I tried. I'm surprised R. Kelly says he thinks he's lost his freedom. Tell him I said a very good morning, all the way from Surulere, Lagos, Nigeria.
Wait, is that Ian? Is that
Yes,
Ian? So yeah, maybe the part where you're saying that you were praying that he should have been pardoned. Maybe you just want to say you're hoping that he wasn't
That it
guilty.
wasn't true.
Yes, not pardoned.
He was hoping it wasn't true. This one in for OG from Amua says, but he's being put in jail for his crimes. What does his music have to do with it?
Those are some of the things I think.
Those
those
the
are things like you're
lyrics
saying, the
inside
lyrics
his music were his
were part
confession.
of your deals.
They
Yeah.
were his confession,
People
and he
keep saying that.
confessed
Please
well.
stop saying this thing. I don't think it's fair.
Excuse me. And
God, I don't know.
all I remember is just I can never stop thinking about him and Lady Gaga. Do what you want with my body. I was like, no, Lady Gaga, no. Not
Well,
with your
it was a
history.
good song while it existed.
I know with
Yes.
his history, no. And Femi from Ikeja says on R. Kelly they bring his song down, but what about the money they made from it?
Aha.
I think it's
Jive Records, I think. Was it Jive or Zumba?
I think it
Those
was
guys.
Jive.
Right.
Yeah.
Good question, really. I didn't
they'll keep it. It's all right.
Exactly.
They'll keep it.
It's not a
Alright.
fair system, I don't think.
Apparently, R. Kelly didn't see anything wrong with a little bump and grind.
We ended the show, but no, not really. So you said the showcase is coming out tomorrow.
Yes,
Where
tomorrow.
can we go pre-order?
Streaming platforms: Spotify, Apple, Napster, Amazon.
So it's type
Boomplay.
White Blue 357.
Yes, at White Blue 357.
Wow.
White
So
Blue
long.
35. Whites now, color whites now.
And
We
white
went-
is
we went
five.
to
Wait,
primary
no,
school,
five
nursery
is-
school, can
Whites,
spell
five
whites now.
characters.
WHITE
Blues, 4.
BLUE. The number 357. It's simple now. Maybe we all go
That's
school.
Oh, we can all find.
That's 12.
Yes,
Why are
now.
you counting the
White,
letters?
blue,
No, no,
Twelve
it's,
characters.
it's checking the syllable to
12
break it down.
characters. Yes, yes, yes.
And at White Blue 357 is where
Yes.
we get to find you on social
All
media.
the social media
Oh,
platforms.
fantastic! I like somebody with consistency. All right, thank you so much for joining us and being
Yes.
part
Thank
of
you
the
for having
crew,
me.
and asking the questions about R. Kelly. That's quite frankly. All right, so what about you?
Yeah, as always, I am at Kachoris, CATCHORIS on Twitter and Kachorisgram on Instagram. That's about it.
Yes, James Allison is James Allison on social media, Instagram, Facebook, everywhere. Now I see you saying that trademarking lyrics is very important. Okay, that's true as well. Yeah. So James Allison, and then
Yes, we are back.
subscribe to
We are back
the
to
James
the...
and keep
Yes,
quiet.
sorry, I'm sorry.
Subscribe
I
to
apologize.
James.
I apologize.
Stop talking.
I apologize.
Subscribe to the James and Oris show on YouTube. Well, he's back.
He's
I'll
back,
see
yes.
if I'm in the mood to, we'll put out
We are
something
back.
this week.
Don't mind him. He's
I
coming.
will holler at you guys.
This is
later.
what you can get. They're like an old married couple.
Oh, that hurt my feelings. Never. Bye, everybody.
Wow, Oris, you're not good enough. Thank you and goodbye.
Only for women.
9 o'clock and the Gus talks.
Oh my days.
Oh, White Blue, sorry you had to come in between all of this. You had to hear all of this terrible exchange.
That was actually.
Y'all
Those-
have aired the dirty laundry everywhere.
Dirty laundry indeed.
Yes.
So you're from Edo State, right?
Yes, I am.
Which part?
Fuga.
Ah, that's my mother's side.
For real?
Chape, careful.
Your mom is from Fuga?
No, she's not. Just close.
Well, which
Dude,
side?